Good morning. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. I hope everybody had a great week. I had a wonderful week. Blessings upon blessings. And I hope each of us has been blessed. And which I know we have because we are watching this video, which means when He opened up your eyes this morning, when He gave you that first breath this morning, when He allowed you to put your feet on the floor, when He allowed you to look over your head and there was a roof, when He allowed you to brush your teeth, hopefully by now, He gave you running water. But this morning, something that we always need to be reminded of is basic human compassion, and we need to remember that, someone else can be in a bad situation and we can witness that, but it can very easily be us in that situation. And we need to remember the things and the mindset that we should have toward others when they are going through something. Because at the end of the day, what if it were me? What if it was me is the mindset that we need to look at. There are the lenses that we need to look at these things through, because like I said, we can easily be in a bad situation or go through some conflict, some turmoil, some tribulation. We each can be there in the blink of an eye. And that's why I want to talk about the passage that we're gonna read this morning. It comes from Matthew chapter 25, and it'll be verses 31 through 41, but they're short verses. But either way, Jesus is talking about the final judgment, and He's talking about separating the goats from the sheep, and we're going to see which one goes to the left and which one goes to the right, and the mindset that gets you in either place, that leads you to either place. So let's go ahead, get into it this morning, and let's see what we come up with. And hopefully you will be enriched by this lesson, and hopefully it may be a reminder for some how we should be treating other people, because it could be us. It could be in the very situations that we're about to read. Let's start at verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in His glory, and all the holy angels with Him, then He shall sit upon the throne of His glory, and before Him shall be gathered all nations, and He shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And He shall set the sheep on His right hand, but the goats on His left. Then shall the King say unto them on His right hand, Come ye, blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. And prison here is talking about jail, people that are incarcerated. Then shall the righteous answer Him, saying, Lord, when have we saw thee an hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the King shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Verse 41, and then He shall say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then they shall answer unto him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then he shall answer unto them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous unto life eternal. Well, let's talk about this. So Jesus here illustrates, the two people, the difference in the sheep and the goats. And it's defined by their actions, which are determined by their mindset. And the mindset was compassion. That was the attitude they had. So if I see somebody thirsty and I give them a drink, I not only help them, I not only did it to them, but I did it to Jesus. But if I don't, I've withheld basic compassion from the one that died on the cross for me and you. So if I see somebody that's hungry and I've got food sitting right here, or I can go get them some or take them to get something to eat, you're not only feeding the person, you're feeding Christ. You're feeding the one that gives you all the spiritual food that you're ever going to get. If we can be reminded, this is those that hunger after righteousness and thirst after righteousness. They'll never be hungry. They'll always be filled. But yet, how is it we're holding back things that are just basic human necessities from our brothers and sisters? Because one day we're going to have to answer for that. We forget those that are incarcerated or behind bars, but Jesus simply said, ye visited me. So if you have somebody that's behind bars today that you know of, that's close, I'm sure they'd appreciate a visit. Because you know what? When you're back there, when you're behind those bars, you'd be glad to have a visit from somebody, a familiar face. You'd be glad to do that. Somebody to just come talk to you for a minute. Or maybe somebody is destitute as far as worldly finances go, and they need some basic clothing. They need clothes. But even if you have that opportunity and you don't do it, look what Jesus has just told us. If you don't do it for them, you didn't do it for him. Even though you didn't go visit the person in jail, but guess what? You want him in the midnight hour. You want him to come visit you when somebody's in the hospital. It could be you or somebody that you love or care about. You want him to come when you need him. But yet, you withhold what you can do to help somebody else's basic needs when you have it in your power to do so. That's the mindset that we have to get away from, is just holding back when we don't want Jesus to hold back from us. We want him to come to us when we need him. There'll come a day when you may not be able to do what you do now. You may not have all these abilities. You may not have the great health anymore. But how did you treat people when you had health? When you had wealth? How did you treat people? And we always need to come back to the word. Sometimes get recalibrated. We may have gotten off due to the society we live in. We may have gotten off due to some circumstances or events that came our way. But guess what? At the end of the day, we have to remember, we're not down here serving man. We are living our lives with the servant mindset, because ultimately we serve Christ, because man doesn't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. And remember, Christ can kill the soul and the body. He can put you in eternal judgment, eternal punishment. Man can only kill the body. So if he's telling you to be compassionate, to serve the basic needs of others, you're not only serving the person down here, you are serving Christ. But on the other hand, if you're on the other side of this situation and you have some needs that need to be met and man is not meeting them, or those around you are not trying to help meet those needs, you need to look no further than Psalms 55. Because it's not man that sustains you. But let's find out who it is. Psalms 55, verse 22. It says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Let's think about this. If you put your trust in the Lord, if you hold on to God's unchanging hand, we have right here in his very word in Psalms 55, verse 22, it is the Lord that sustains us. That is the thing that we have to keep in mind. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Don't worry about what people necessarily don't do for you. You must be concerned with what you are doing. As long as you do all that you can do, God will step in and do the rest. Because remember, when God gives it to you, there's nothing that man can do to take it away. What's for you is for you. But today, going forward, the attitude of compassion, if you're the one that can feel the need for your brothers and sisters, and if you're the brother and sister in need, remember that God will sustain you ultimately. Again, he woke you up this morning. He started you on your way. I hope everybody has a great week. I plan to have a great week as long as the good Lord wills. And I'll talk to you next week. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, as my grandmother used to say. So that being said, I'll see y'all later.